All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right, well, that was an awesome intro. All sports, all plays. All right, y'all. So I am just waiting on the host to get through, but I guess until someone else pops on. Hello, everybody. My name is Kenyanna Wilson. I am here today to talk a little bit about my experience with sports. We'll see if we get a host in here. If not, I'll host it myself. Take a little bit of initiative. So I'll give it a little bit of time.
I gave you a 5-minute break so we can wait for everybody else to get in.
Oh, okay, because I was like, I don't hear nobody.
I was like, I don't have an agenda. Somebody's gonna be real sad.
That was my fault. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, get your life together. No, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey, girl, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hi, were you talking to me or him?
Oh, you girl. Forget him. I'm talking about you. No.
Hi.
How are you? How are you this afternoon or evening? I should say. Yeah, evening.
Days and nights kind of run together for me. I'm like super tired. Just got in from track practice. I coach a high school here now, so I was like, let me get in, give me a sip of water, get posted. So it's been a good day. How about you?
Same. I'm kind of in the midst of the same thing. My days run together too because I work nights. So, I be up all night and then get a couple hours here and there, and then I'm up doing this. So yeah, I'm right there with you, sis. But so while I have you here, since we're not live yet, I wanted to kind of give you like a little rundown of the show and exactly how tonight's show is gonna go.
Okay.
So basically what we're going to do first is we're going to just go over like a different sports topic. So I'll throw out topics and then, you and my co-host, our comment, hold on, sorry. Okay. I got to type to you because our conversation is on live. Sorry.
Steve's giving everybody a little preview.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not all that bad, but, so basically, I mean, I'll just throw it out there. So yeah, so we'll talk about sports and stuff first, and then we'll go into like your personal stuff.
All right.
Can you hear me? Sensei? No.
Hello, ladies. How are y'all? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and okay. Can you hear me, sis? I want to make sure before I get into my whole spiel.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, welcome to another edition of the Sports Senseis with your girl Sensei, as well as my good sis Jay Nicole. And today we have a very, very I'm so happy to have our good sis on. Now, sis, before I introduce you, can you please tell me how to say your name? Because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I hate pronouncing names.
I understand. It's Kenyanna. It's exactly how it's spelled. Kenyanna.
Okay, perfect. So we have a special guest on the show today. Our good sis, track superstar, phenom, everything in this world, Kenyanna Wilson. How are you doing today, sis? Welcome to the show.
I'm well. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on and speak to some women about some sports. And, hopefully we can have a good conversation today. I've been looking forward to it all week. So I'm excited.
Dope. And our good sis, my co-host and trustee as well, as we all know, Miss Jen Nicole, and she got her Lakers hat on. Is that a sign of things to come today? Miss Jen Nicole, can you please tell the people what's going on with you today so you can properly flex, please?
Yes. Look, I'm trying to make sure my hat right in the camera. They're like, "Why are you doing your hair?" I make sure my hair right. You see my eyes. I'm gonna take it out. So tonight I'm in San Antonio, Texas. I am covering the Lakers Spurs game. So I'm gonna get out of here a little early in about 20 minutes or so to get to the AT&T Center. But I can't wait. And my boy LeBron James just put up 56 points against the Golden State Warriors. That's what he did.
We're gonna get into all of that because
we're gonna talk about that. Okay.
You already know. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these topics here, ladies. So speaking of which, Jay, you already threw it out there, so we're gonna run with that because we are already been speaking into existence. So a couple nights ago, the Lakers played against the Golden State Warriors. Of course, as we all know, LeBron James went off for 56 of them things. So, ladies and gents, is this a sign of things to come for the Lakers? Is this what it's going to take for them to win? What do we think about LeBron's big night? What does that say about him as far as his legacy and just his greatness, if you will? I'll let you ladies go first before I give my opinion.
I guess I'll go first. Mine be very short, very sweet. LeBron James is King James. Period. I mean, his legacy is cemented. If you go back and watch things that this person was doing when he was 16, 17 years old, he's always been a phenom. He's always been this powerhouse. Those Lakers, they need a new recipe, though. I'm not going to lie. The Kool-Aid's a little tangy. They need a little more sugar, a little more sauce. The Lakers have been struggling. My family, I have a whole LA family, so they'll probably shun me for saying this. But King James is King James, but everybody else needs to catch up.
I agree. Jen Nicole, what you got for me? What's going on? How you feeling?
So I just had to, before the show, do a recap of that game. I just watched a recap of the game with 56 points, okay? He let y'all know. Put some respect on his name. He's still King James, okay? So, and I saw Westbrook do a little bit in that game, actually play. Like, I was like, okay, can you just be consistent? Because we all know Westbrook's been, right? I saw Carmelo Anthony, hit some shots and stuff like that in a real team effort. And my crush, my boo, DJ Augustine just joined the Los Angeles Lakers because he point. And but yeah, they need, we're the 9th seed right now. I'm LA all day. Briefly lived in LA. Everybody knows I go back to the Shaq Kobe Laker days, and I'm a King James fan. So I just want to see them get into at least that 6th seed. I don't want them to have to go into that play-in game. Just because, last year LeBron hit the shot against Curry in his eye and stuff like that, but I was too close for comfort. I want them to at least make the 6th seed. They don't got to do a play-in game. They straight we good. So as long as we can keep the momentum going. The other, role players definitely stepped in. Watching that game, watching the recap, I was like, okay, role players definitely stepped up, made some big shots, hit some threes. So if we can keep playing like this with AD out, I feel like we can definitely get to that 6th seed and not have to worry about the playing game. And then from there, King James take over, playoff, King James, let's go get it. I'm a root for my Lakers all day, every day. Every year, I'm going to say they go in a championship. Like every real, true fan will, you know what I'm saying? So I believe they can get there. I believe they have what it takes. So I was just really, man, to see him get that 56-point game, it really warmed my heart.
At the age of 56.
Right. I'm gonna say at the age of 75, he was. I'm kidding. I agree with both of you ladies. I'm a Bron fan, so I'm always impressed by pretty much anything that he does. But as far as going forward, the formula cannot be LeBron plays that way every single night, because that's not championship basketball. That's not going to get the Lakers to, like you said, Jay, a 6 seed, or even out of the play-in game situation, as well as that's going to burn Bron down, because eventually, as much as he is superhuman and he's otherworldly, he still is a human. Like, he's still, you know what I'm saying? He still is naturally going to get tired. He's naturally going to wear down because of the wear and tear of the season. And he is 37. Like, as great as he's been playing at his age, he's not 25-year-old Bron, where he can do this throughout the season and then do it again in the playoffs, and he's, you know what I'm saying, where he's not going to completely burn out. So they definitely have to find a different formula other than having to rely on him all the time, because, like I said, unfortunately, he's just not in the position to where he can carry a team in that way anymore. Now, what I will say, that performance definitely solid. I mean, LeBron's already solidified. Like, if he hung up his jersey tomorrow, like, he's top 3 all time, depending on where you have him. Is that's your opinion, but he's already made his impact. He's already proven as to be one of the legends, to be one of the greats. So I mean, that it doesn't really do anything for him as far as like push his legacy forward, but it does remind people, like, at the end of the day, I am still King J. Like, I'm still LeBron. Like, no matter, yes, we've been struggling. Yes, we haven't played the greatest. This is probably the most challenging season he's had as a professional, other than, like, his first few years in the league, obviously with the Cavaliers. But I mean, LeBron is LeBron. Like, LeBron's gonna be LeBron until he hangs him up. So it's like, it just is what it is. But I found it ironic, Jay, that this virtuoso performance, if you will, came on the heels of my epic LeBron rant. Do you recall, Jay?
Let's get into that, Sensei. Let's talk about it. Freddie, where Freddie at? Can Freddie get in real quick? Can Freddie get in?
Freddie, where you at? You've been ducking me ever since, but it's okay. It's fine. I understand, but I'm just saying it's on the heels of that, and I was just like, I wonder if this is the universe telling me that LeBron is following me, and my LeBron interview is closer than what I think. I don't know, is that me? Am I wrong to think that?
Will it? Put it up there. Put it in the atmosphere. It will come to you.
Yes. Yes. So I love to see it, love to hear it. All right. So let's go straight into since we were talking about the Lakers, we have to talk about the team that they played against, which is the Golden State Warriors. Now, the Lakers struggles obviously have been highlighted throughout the season, but a team that also has been struggling as of late is Golden State, and it hasn't, of course, been talked about as much because they still have a very good record. But is this stretch for the Warriors that they've been losing these games, and considering some of the teams that they've lost to, is this now cause for concern for the Warriors? Are the Warriors not the foregone conclusion as far as being one of the top teams in the West? Like, is this something we should be concerned with? Is the missing Draymond, does that play a factor? Like, what is the Warriors' recent struggles spell for you guys? Like, what does that mean to you guys?
Jay?
Oh, I was gonna let Kenyanna go first. Okay. Go ahead. You want me to go?
Please.
Okay. So, you know what? I ain't never going to be worried about the Golden State Warriors. Not my team in particular. I mean, I really don't care for them, but Steph Curry is Steph Curry. You already know, the team that beat my team is my enemy. So all the championships, Cleveland against Golden State, but no, I'm not worried. You know what I mean? Like, they have Clay back, right? We got the Splash Brothers. Draymond's out. Draymond really just gave them energy and some defense, really. He wasn't as far as them putting up points and doing what they do, as long as they got a healthy Clay, a healthy Steph, you good. You know what I mean? And the team can get together and play collectively. Sometimes we lose to some bad teams. Sometimes we lose to some good teams. Like, I'm not worried about them. They're still the second seed right now. Like, I'm never worried about the Golden State Warriors. Let me just say that. So I think sometimes, you go on a losing streak and you're looking like, man, how we lose against this team? How we lose against this team? Like, I'm looking it up right now. Like, they lost against the Mavs, but Mavs got Luka. They lost against the Timberwolves. Like, okay, Anthony Towns. They lost against the Mavericks again. Luka. They lost against my Lakers. That looks good to me. Lost in a close one against the Nuggets. You know, you got Jokic. Like, so these ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, they doing their thing. So, lost to Clippers a couple weeks ago, but this not horrible. I never count them out. They got Steph. They got Clay. They gonna do their thing.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Kenyanna?
I think the same. You know, they went a long time without Clay, so the dynamics of the team somewhat shifted. So with getting him back into the fold is like letting him get back acclimated to gameplay and game speed. I think when you have a championship team, they thrive the best after like adversity. So I'm not saying they're dropping games on purpose. I'm not saying that. But if you're already sitting pretty comfortable in the league or in the division, why not try some different schemes? Why not do some things and give your stars a chance to have an off game? I mean, I'm not a huge Warriors fan. I'm not going to lie. However, I do respect and understand greatness. So it's like you're going to drop a couple with a couple superstars that are on the other side of the team or other side of the opponents. But I think they'll be fine once they get into like that championship flow. They always seem to tighten it up when it really counts. So I think they're just building their story, building, that Clay comeback. We dropped this many games in a row, got into playoff time after All-Star break and, kind of powered up. So hopefully they do well.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I'm not really concerned all the way for them. I definitely think that this highlights just how important Draymond is to that team. Because I do feel like they are definitely missing him on the defensive side of things. Because he is their defensive anchor when he is available to play for them. As well as people have to understand that I think we kind of got spoiled with KD and him getting him tearing his ACL and coming back and pretty much still being KD. And I don't think people understand that that's not the case for everybody. Like, everybody's different. Everybody's body recovers different, because I've seen online recently a lot of people talking about, they brought Clay back too soon, or that he's doing pretty much more harm than good. But Clay's not a super athletic guy. He's not somebody that, that jumps out the gym. He's not, like this just freak of nature athlete. Like, he's somebody that he has to use every part of his body to make him what he is. And so I think people have to understand that he's like, he didn't play for 2 years. Like, literally, like, he's been out of the NBA for like not out of the NBA, but out of the lineup as far as in basketball shape for 2 years. That's a lot of time. And especially when you're used to consistently playing, 82 plus games every single year, you have that wear and tear in your body. He's also 32 years old. And, he's a shooter. So, you need your legs more than anything when you are playing a position like him or do what he does well. So I think people got to be more realistic and give him a little bit more time to kind of work himself back into basketball shape. But I'm not worried about the Warriors at all, because at the end of the day, the Warriors are the Warriors. Steph is going to be Steph, like, you know what I'm saying? And Clay, once he kind of gets his wind under him a little bit, I think he'll be just fine. As well as when they get Draymond back, I think that definitely is going to make a big difference. And what people also don't realize either is they still got Wiseman in the cut. Like, he's not even back in. So it's like they've got a couple of different X factors that are, that they're kind of waiting in the wings to for them to unleash. But once they're able to do that, they're going to be right back to what we are used to seeing, which is unfortunate for us and the rest of the league. Because that means, they're back in contention to pretty much rebrand that dynasty. So, but yeah, I'm not too concerned with them at all either. They will definitely be just fine. So moving on from the Warriors, we're gonna go to the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant, et cetera, et cetera. So how serious are we taking the Memphis Grizzlies? Because they are the talk of the town. They are the hot team. They are the hot commodity right now. Everybody is over the moon, giving all kinds of crazy predictions, which, I mean, rightfully so. They've earned it. Ja Morant has been playing out of his freaking mind as of late. So how serious of a threat are they to the rest of the Western Conference? Kenyanna, I'll start with you.
I think they're definitely a significant threat. What my concern is, how well can they play without their star player? Like, what happens if he has a bad game? Because, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
What happens if he comes out completely cold, or, God forbid, have a tight hamstring or whatever the case. So it's like, I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond to adversity. It's always easy to play good when your star player is incredible. when he's doing 360 spins off the glass. It's so easy to rise to that. So
absolutely.
I'm excited to see how they do when they get a little more adversity. I want to see some of their support players really step up and just kind of not put it all on Ja, because you can't be incredible. He's making a really good case for it, but you can't be super incredible night in, night out, night in, night out. Like, you know, you got to give him a little bit of breathing room. So if some other players, one or two players, can kind of step up and shine and be that good support system, I think they'll go far for sure. They're definitely a threat. They're not going down easy no matter who they're playing against. So they need some more help.
Absolutely. What about you, Jay?
So I'm looking at this last game that they just lost to the Houston Rockets, who are 16-48. Okay, I don't even know who's on the Houston Rockets. I don't even know one player on the Houston Rockets. So I'm very shocked at this. And they had Ja had 22, Desmond Bane had 28, and Steven Adams had 23. So I mean, you could, other players contribute. Bane had more points than Ja. So I don't know how they lost to the Houston Rockets. I mean, hold on, let me see who was the high scorer in the Houston Rockets, because again, I don't even know. Kevin Porter Jr., okay, 29. Christian Wood, 28, and Jalen Green. Okay, they got Jalen Green. But still, so I'm agree with Kenyanna and just be like, yo, if but Ja did have 22 points, that's legit, right? But if he's not the superstar, can other people step up? Which the team actually did. But somehow they still end up losing to the Houston Rockets, who are 16-48. Okay, what is that? The worst record in the league? Like, I'm like, hold on right now. Like, how y'all let that happen? When y'all coming in, handling the Bulls, I'm like, well, yeah, the Rockets are 15th place. Exactly. How y'all lose to them and y'all third place? So I think the players, the team as a whole needs to step up and be collective. I'm very excited to see Ja Morant and everything he does. He's just a competitor, a true competitor at nature. And so that competitive nature, that grind, I love to see it in him. But, right, can the team hold it together? Can they keep their number 3 spot? And then what happens in the playoffs, right? It's like they came in last year. I believe they won both their playing games, I believe, or at least one. But, yeah, I don't know. They won one. I know they won the first one. I do know that. I can't remember who they beat. But I remember they won the first one. I think they beat the Spurs. Actually, hold on, let me take that back. They beat the San Antonio Spurs in a playing game. Yes, that is what they did. So, again, can the team play good? The team played good, but then they lost to the 15th seed Houston Rockets. So that's very concerning. That's very, very, very concerning. You're the number 3 seed and you lose to the 15th seed. Your players played well, 28, 24. Ja had 22, but see, it's like, no, they needed Ja to have a superstar game and have 42, right? For them to get that win, because they lost by 15 points or something like that. So it wasn't even, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, snap. Y'all lost by that many points. So, we just need other people to step up, because Ja ain't going to have a superstar night every night. That he is not.
Absolutely. I definitely agree wholeheartedly with both of you. You definitely have to have consistency from your star player, and then also from the bench, from the other 4 guys that he goes to battle with every night who starts. You know what I'm saying? There has to be definitely a collective effort in order for them to be considered as a contender, quote unquote. But I will say that they are a very young team. They're very exciting. They're very fun to watch, and they've definitely made a lot of progress over the years since Ja has been there. But I think, Kenyanna, you pointed it out, and you made a really good point, is that what happens when Ja isn't Ja? What happens when he's not scoring 40 plus points or 50 plus points or 30 plus points or 27 points, when he's having one of those out of body experiences where he's just going off. What happens when, what I'm saying? Because we've seen all the greats have bad games. We've seen Steph have bad games. We've seen Bron have bad games. We've seen Kevin Durant, all these different people have bad games as well. But the difference is they always had teammates that were able to step up and to give him that assistance when need be. So we haven't seen that consistently enough from the Grizzlies, because I do feel like they rely a lot on Ja to be Ja, basically. And it's pretty much Ja or nothing. So if he's not, having one of those moments, then it's just they don't look like the same team. So that's my only concern for them. So if the teammates can step up, you know what I'm saying, his supporting cast can step up and make be consistent enough to kind of keep them afloat, then obviously I think you have to take them very serious, because with a leader like John Morant, like they literally are, it's literally one band, one sound. Like they follow everything. Like when he's on that mode, like they follow him. He's pretty much their unquestionable leader. So if they're able to be consistent enough, then I think that they are definitely a serious threat. But if they're gonna put all the eggs in John Morant's basket, it's not gonna work. Like they're not gonna be one of the top teams that way. Now, do you think that Memphis needs another superstar in order for them to seriously contend for a championship? Like, does it need to be John Morant, somebody else, in order for them to compete? Can Memphis win the way that the Milwaukee Bucks won, like with Giannis? Like, are they built for that?
I think they could be, even without another big name superstar. When you have a young team or a younger team that are scrappy, that can all like encourage each other and just take their play to another level. I say the same thing that happened with the Suns. When the Suns going into the bubble, I mean, weren't they like undefeated until they lost? Like, when you catch that fire, if you can get everybody else on board with you and everybody does their part, then you can really go make a real stab at it. I think that it's possible. But it takes the belief from within the team. That starting five, like you got to get in hard. And if you're coming off the bench, you have to stay in the game from tip off. You can't have anybody not going towards a mission. Like you said, one band, one sound. Everybody has to be marching this direction. So if they all kind of band together, I think they could. They're explosive enough. They're exciting. The fans definitely support them. I mean, I think they could go, like I said, they can go on it, but everyone has to be in it. It has to be a group effort for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about it, Jay?
I was just going to say, Nathan McRitt said Grizzlies beat the Spurs last year, then they beat the Warriors on two of their playing games, and then they beat the Jazz in game one. So here's the thing. They in the West, right? They in a wild West. If they were in the East, I mean, doing what Milwaukee did, and we could argue, hey, Kevin Durant, if his foot would have been smaller and hit the three, right? For sure. West, where it's definitely tougher than it is in the East to, do what the Milwaukee Bucks did. But, I think they definitely can go far. Like, I look at the teams in the West and I'm like, Denver? And I'm like, Jokic? Like, I'm not really like, I'm a big, maybe it's me always thinking like the heavy hitters can be good. Of course, I was excited to see Phoenix. I wanted Phoenix to win, but it's interesting to see who's in the top. You looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, number 3, like, you're supposed to be the Lakers, and the Clippers been good for a while, and the Trailblazers, what I mean? It's like the tables have turned, so you clearly can see anything happens. I'm a big John Morant fan. I say go Grizzlies. Like, I love to see what they can do. But again, Wild West is tougher than the East, and we'll see what they can do. They can hang in. I definitely think they can go far without a superstar, and just them coming in, beating last year in the playing games, right? Beating the Spurs, beating the Warriors, even though Warriors at capacity, you still got Steph Curry, and he was shooting lights out, and it was still a close game, and John Morant did what he did, So. On that note, ladies, I gotta get out of here because I gotta go.
Yes.
Like, okay. So I will be doing live tweets after each quarter, keeping everybody up on the score. But I'm gonna get to it. It was lovely to meet you, Kenyanna. Please come back to the show anytime. Your door is always open. Fun talking sports with you, Sensei. I'll catch you soon, and you ladies have a great show.
Indeed. What? Congratulations, Jay, and have a good. I hope that you have a good time tonight, and good luck on everything. But to continue on with the show here, we do have one more NBA question before we start to get to know our special guest a little bit better. So I want to throw this out there just for fun. Do you think that Jason Tatum is a superstar right now?
Yes.
And why?
I feel like whenever he has a challenge in front of him, I've never seen him lower himself. I've never seen him like show any type of like cowardice ever. He's always like going after it. For him to be such a young guy, even when he first came into the league, I've never saw him to be very timid. I always saw him to be open, stepping into that league or that team, excuse me. I mean, the Celtics has a very long history.
Yes.
You know, so I feel like he's a star right now. Every time I can catch him play, I try to catch him play because, I mean, I think he does incredible things, and just his leadership on the court. He shows he's an emotional player. He always stays in it. He I watched the game, watched him play. Maybe that was yesterday or the day before, but he just always goes after it. So yes, I believe he's a superstar right now. He's gonna grow, of course. This is like before the shiny stuff, but he's gonna grow.
I agree. I definitely think that Jason Tatum is a superstar as well. I think that I don't think he gets enough credit for, like you mentioned, overcoming those adverse situations so young. Just because he kind of when he came to the Boston Celtics, like they were kind of a mess of a franchise. They were trying to figure out what direction they were going to go in. They needed somebody because, you know, you think of Boston, you think of legends. Like you think of, you know, the Paul Pierces of the world. You think of Larry Bird. You think of Kevin McHale. Like you think of all of these great players and great names. And so for him to kind of be so young and to fall in line and to pretty much put that team on his back and no matter what, just always be the guy, always be consistent, always be reliable. Basically, as far as within that situation, he's definitely a superstar. But what do you think that Boston is missing? Because there's clearly something that they're missing, some kind of piece in order for them to be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. What do you think that is? Or is it a certain type of player? Is it a couple players? Is it role play? Like what do you think pushes them to be able to contend with the Phillies? And, you know, of course, when Brooklyn kind of gets everything up rolling with them as far as getting Ben Simmons and whatever is going to happen with the mandate. But I mean, just being like with the Milwaukee's and like what's going to take for Boston to be in that conversation?
They need someone that is like aggressive. I'm not saying that who they currently have is not aggressive, but I think any like championship team, they have someone that kind of rattles the cages. You know, if you think way back to like the Bulls, you come in and you have like Rodman. He's not afraid to shake the table and then go get some rebounds. He's not afraid to do that. Even with Draymond Green, you know, he's not afraid to shake the cage. You know, I just think that if Boston had someone that was, you know, a scrappy player, somebody to really, really shut it down on defense, you know, play off the boards and do things like that, I think that could really change the tide of the team. If you know you have a shooter, you know, they have a couple on the squad that can get it done. If you have someone on the defensive side that can really just play scrappy and really get after it, I think that could really be a good starter for that team.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that. Okay, so let me ask, before I give my opinion, let me ask this. Let me pivot for a second. Do you think the dynamic of him along the side of, or Jaylen Brown alongside of him, do you think that is enough? Like, do you think that should they build around them, or is that a duo that needs to separate?
It's hard to say. I like Brown. I think I don't want to say he's passive, but when I'm talking about someone that's like a little more fiery, I mean someone that's a little more fiery, that kind of like even with Kevin Durant, you know, you can see when he's really like in that zone, he does little things off the ball that kind of imposes his size and his skill level. I don't believe that Jaylen Brown really does that. I think he does great when he needs to do great, but as far as just making things happen away from the ball, I don't really see it that much. I mean, also I haven't studied the film and broken it all down, but they don't have like that super scrappy guy. And I think they're good, but they need someone else that's going to come in there and be their Rodman. That's what they need.
I think, I would agree with that as well. I do think that they need somebody who is more of, like you said, fiery, more of the firecracker, more of like that you don't have to really motivate to get that fire started. Right. Like that it just comes in and it's already burning pretty much. Like, so I definitely agree with that. I like them as a tandem, but I do feel like if there's something better out there, Boston should go for it.
Yeah,
that's kind of where, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I hate to say it because I do like them as a tandem. I do think that they complement each other's games really well. They're nice, but it's just like it's just not, and nice ain't good enough. So like
they're
nice.
nice.
Like like nice is cool. Nice is cool, but nice isn't gonna elevate you to that next level. You can't win with nice.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. And if for Jason Tatum to be in the light that I'm sure that he would want to be, you gotta win.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just, I mean, it's like I said, it's just a tricky situation because like I said, I like them together, but I just feel like there's somebody or something better out there. And and if it becomes available, I feel like Boston should pull the trigger and make it happen.
An older player, someone with a little bit of, time playing in the league, maybe bounce around a team or two.
They need like a Andre Iguodala kind of guy.
Yes.
Like what Andre
championship mentality,
veteran, but knows his roles and not even just role. Because I mean, you look at Andre Iguodala right now, like he's a role player, obviously, but Andre Iguodala has roles with the Warriors. Like it's not just he does one thing well and that's it. Like he's a good defender. He's able to initiate the offense. He's kind of like a point guard in a sense. Because he's not somebody that looks to score. He doesn't need the ball, he doesn't need to get his touches. Like he's okay if he gets a couple shots here and there, like he's cool with that. Yep. So they need somebody along the lines of like something like that, like either if not somebody like an Andre Iguodala to use the Warriors for another example, somebody like Sean Livingston, like what Sean Livingston was for the Warriors for those years that he was, that he was with them. Like when he came in, you didn't have to jumpstart Sean Livingston. You didn't have to tell him what he needs to do. You didn't have to. He just came in and he did his job. He did his job and he went home. So like they need somebody. They need somebody along the lines of that. And they also, I think, need to pair Jason Tatum with. Jason Tatum needs like a. What's a good comparison? He needs somebody like a Kyrie Irving without everything that comes with Kyrie Irving. Sorry to say it, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like he needs somebody
control the pace, control it let him shoot when he needs to.
Yeah. Somebody that can assist him in playing off the ball. Yes. Because and that's not to say that Jason Tatum can't play on ball. Like, because there's not a whole lot that Jason Tatum can't do. But he's better at playing off ball, and if he's put in the position to do that, then I feel like that's where he's the most effective. So he needs somebody that he can play off of in that regard, who can set him up and get him shots, who can pretty much allow him to work. You know what I'm saying? Like to just let him go and be on his side of the floor, and like that's your office over there. Go over there and just work, work that side. Like he needs somebody like, so I guess it's two things he needs. Like he needs the, the veteran role player, but he also needs somebody who's gonna able to put him in positions for him to be successful. Yeah. And I feel like that elevates Boston to another level and gets them in that conversation with the top teams of the East. Because let's be honest, like there's only 3 teams that, people really care about in the East that have an opportunity to go to the finals. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like they're contending with a bunch of teams to get in those talks. But if they're going to be there at the end to go to the big dance, and I think Boston needs those 2 factors. But off of NBA talk, let's talk about you, sis, because you are incredible. You are got a lot going on. You are currently I call you a track superstar because that's how I feel.
I appreciate
it. So let the people know, I know that you go to LSU currently, is that correct?
No, I actually graduated from LSU.
Graduated. Okay,
yes,
graduated.
I'm an LSU alum.
Okay.
So I guess quick background about me. I'm from, I was born in LA, but I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. So I consider myself a Phoenician, if you will.
Okay.
I graduated high school here. I ran track. When I first started running, I was like always the fastest one to like recess, fastest one to the water fountain. So when I got a little bit older and I had some people say, hey, maybe you should run track. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I started running track, pretty late, about 12 years old, 6th grade. Most people have been running since they were 5 or 6. So I started running club track on a local youth team here called Rising Suns. Got to give them a shout out.
Gang.
Super. they definitely got me started. And the coach's daughters were the all-stars of the team, all-stars in the state, let me tell you. And I just knew that I wanted to have that same level of success. I wanted to be that fast. So I kind of just watched what they did and how they, you know, moved and the things, you know, that they did at practice, and I kind of modeled myself after that. And after about a year or so, I started competing, started just growing and going up into the ranks. And by the time I graduated high school, I had already made 2 USA teams. I had went on to LSU, and my LSU story is pretty funny as well, but I can tell you a little bit about that later. But when I was getting recruited, all the teams all the schools I went to, everyone's rolling out the red carpet and everything is so nice and so cushy. But when I went on my LSU visit, the girls were rough. When I say rough, I mean like they didn't baby me. It wasn't no catering. They were like, okay, yeah, it's time for the recruits to go home. And I remember sitting at the dinner table like, I love these girls.
That's amazing.
We have a question. Where'd you go to high school? I graduated from Peoria High School in Arizona. So Peoria Panther, P-Town. So like I said, highly recruited. Even my coach's daughters that were on the team when I first started, they also went to Peoria. So Peoria High School, I'm in Peoria, Arizona. We just took it over. And so they definitely set the standard for me. They helped me make USA teams, go on to college. I was a national champion, conference champion.
Yes.
You know, the whole thing. Had a chance to run professionally for a few years as well. I've been to multiple Olympic trials. So I've done pretty much everything that you can do in track and field. And, you know, once I finished competing, and I had my oldest son in 2017. And so I transitioned that into coaching, speed development, personal training, stuff like that. And that's what I'm doing now.
Dope. Incredible. That's amazing to hear. Now, what year did you graduate from college?
Why are you in my... I'm just kidding. in college, I graduated from LSU in 2011. So
2011. Okay.
I've been growing for a long time.
Nothing wrong with that at all. That is amazing. So I want to ask you, because I've always loved track and field as far as like in the Olympic, like that's one of my favorite Olympic events to watch is track and field, just because I'm just so in awe of, especially the women that are just effortlessly fast and just are. It's just incredible to watch for me, because I know it seems like such a short-lived moment, just because, you know what I'm saying, like you're only running for a certain amount of time, but I know that there's a lot of work that goes into just making that short period of time look good or to be at the top of the sport. So what were the different fields that you ran? Like what was the, you know what I'm saying, like I guess what I'm trying to ask is like what levels did you compete in? Like did you do the 100, the 200? That's the word I was looking for. My God, I don't know why I couldn't think of that, but yeah. What were the events that you had?
Names for it.
Yeah.
I understand. I ran in high school. I ran the 100 meter dash, 200 dash. I ran the 400 dash when coach got after me and made me run the 400 dash. I did the 4x1 relay, which is when each person runs 100 meters. And then I also ran the 4x4 in high school. Collegiately, I just ran the 1, the 2, and 4x1. Okay. And then professionally, I just ran the 60, also the 60 meters. In college, we had a whole indoor season where it was 60 meters and 200. And then professionally, I ran that as well. So everything short sprints. I was speed. That's it.
Nothing wrong with that. Now, which one was your favorite? Like, which one did you enjoy the most?
I love indoors. So the 60 meters was like my bread and butter. I definitely prided myself on having a tremendous block start. So having the fastest reaction, fastly 0 to 20, like that was me. Male, female, coach, child, animal. Come see me on the track.
I know that's right. That's right.
But, you know, that's only competed in for only a short period of the season. Indoor season is only about 2, maybe 3 months stretched. So outside of that, I love the 4x1. Running a relay, that's how I first started running track, was coming in as an alternate for a relay team going into nationals. So I love the relay. It's just something about passing that baton, doing your job and passing the baton. I mean, it's so exciting. Probably my favorite event.
That's one of my favorite events to watch, because the hand-eye coordination, like, and then you have to also still be fast. Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Like I said, that's probably one of my favorites to watch inside of the 100. Now, I ask you this as somebody who's ran track for a long time. What do you think, at least for you, maybe what was an advantage for you, or what you can tell for advantages for other people? Like, what is the key to have, because you just actually spoke on it, like your start time, like you prided yourself on having a good start time. So like, what was the key for you to ensure that you had a good start time? Like, what is something that was like kind of like a hidden gem that helped you, like, perfect that?
Well, one thing that's totally unperformance related is I believed I had the best start. I told people I believed I had the best start, number one. I worked hard to ensure that I had the best start. And then I challenged other people. Challenge me. Are you fast? Okay. I would run with the boys. I would line up, block practice. I have some, when I became professional, I have some of my former training partners to this day still, when they see me, oh, you talk too much stuff during block practice. But for me, you have to take pride in what you do. I'm not built. I was never built like a quarter miler. The 400, like I said, hurt. That was just something I wasn't able to really overcome that hump of it hurting so badly. So I tried to make sure that I perfected my short sprints. And with my start, I mean, day in, day out, doing reaction drills, making sure that learning more about anatomy, what muscles am I using to push out of the blocks, doing things that I felt like most athletes weren't doing, like working on my jumps, working on my reaction, making sure that I had maximum amount of strength in the weight room. And just doing the little things. So it all definitely started with me believing that I had the best start, and then actually putting in the work to ensure that I had the muscles to back up what I said. And then I just continued to work at it. Never, ever, ever did I ever turn down the fade. You want to get out here? Let's go.
Yeah. No, that's dope. And I think that's incredible that you spoke on that, because as women, that's so important, because we're always taught to be modest. We're taught to be humble. We're taught to just, accept just being good. Like we can't be braggadocious like the guy, or at least they say that you're not supposed to be as, braggadocious as the guys, or to be as confident, like you said, as you were. And say it out loud. Like if you are that confident, you're just supposed to be like a silent confident in a sense. So I love that you spoke about that, and you were, you poked your chest out, like, listen, I do this. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm great at this, and you're not only are you going to hear about it, but you're going to see it too. So I love that that you spoke about that. Now I want to ask you too, because you are an LSU alum now, how tough was it to compete in the SEC? Because let me tell you something, like I watch Olympic track, but I also watch SEC track, because SEC track to me is the most competitive division when it comes to, because everybody's fast. Like there's not a person where you like, this person has no business competing. Like it's anybody's game and it's anybody's race. So how tough was that to compete and like separate yourself from all the great competition that's in the SEC?
Well, that actually played a huge part in why I signed with LSU to begin with. I was very, very talented in high school. I ran times that were only a few of us were running those times coming out of high school. And I kind of looked at all the conferences. Okay, what are the conference champions running in college? And I looked at these times when I was in high school, and back then it was Pac-10, and I was like, okay, they're kind of fast. But when I went over to the SEC, I was like, there's at least 4 or 5 people that are faster than me all the time, in the SEC. And I told myself when I was going through picking a school, I just told myself, do you want to go somewhere and be number one or be looked at as number one? Can you handle all of that? Because I felt like that kind of pressure didn't really help me much in high school. When I got to a certain point, and it was just kind of, people was expecting me to just perform and just perform and just perform, I had to pull myself out of my local meets mentally, and I was always competing against the clock. And I had forgotten how to be a teammate. I had forgotten how to be supportive. I had just like lived and breathed off this paper. You know, what are the rankings? Who ran what? And I told myself that if I went to the SEC, I knew my freshman year, even me running my very best times, that I was going to get my head knocked off. And I told myself, if you keep swinging and you keep fighting, you will get success at the end of it. And my freshman year, I went in indoor season. I was the number 4 girl. So I was like, I'm going to be on the relay for sure. Like, coach put me on the 4x1. You know, when outdoor season comes. Outdoor season came. I'm a freshman. They had seniors. He was not trying to hear me. So I was an alternate for the majority of the season, but I kept my mission. I kept working, and as a freshman, I qualified for nationals in an individual event in the 100 meters. So I punched my own ticket to nationals, which put me in position. Unfortunately, at the national meet, one of my teammates who ran the relay injured herself in the prelims. So when it's time for the finals, you know, coach is looking around, and you have a senior who's a hurdler, or you have me. And I told coach, I said, Coach, I made it in the 100. I've been the number 4 girl on the team all year. So give me an opportunity. And we ended up becoming second place that year. And then at nationals. And then the next year, I ended up winning the 100 meters in the SEC championships and second in the 200. And this is a sophomore. So
slight flex.
I didn't have a choice. I signed up for this. I said, you know, I'm not trying to be the front runner. I want to climb that mountain. And when I did, I did. And I was able to win conference, which was like huge. And then when I went on to nationals, I was 3rd in the 60 indoors and 3rd in the 100 meters outdoors. And that just kind of carried me, you know, throughout the rest of my collegiate career, was not being afraid to step up. My whole freshman year, my teammates could beat me. So why am I afraid of you? My teammates are, you know, rolling at practice. So why am I afraid of you? And I just kind of kept that same mentality since college, because you're always going to have a challenge, and you can tuck in and you can just float and be amongst the crowd and have success when everyone else does. Or you can try to make yourself an outlier. And that's what I tried my best to do.
That's dope. That's incredible. Again, like I said, I love that you are that you're speaking about the level of competition, and you're also, it's the confidence. Like I said, I just feel like that's such an important thing that we have to drive home for women, and especially for young Black women, because like I said, we're taught and conditioned to be humble and to be modest, and to not, you know, be that, you know, that confident, or I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call it cocky, but you know, some people may look at it in that sense, and you know, so we're taught that that's not okay. So I love that you are constantly mentioning that, and constantly saying, like, you know, I knew I was great. I proved that I was great. You know, I wasn't afraid to let everybody know that I was great. And you have also had the stats to back it up. So I love hearing, you know, stuff like that. And like I said, I'm glad that you are putting that in the atmosphere, because that's very important.
It wasn't always like that, though. For as confident as I was and am, I wasn't always like broadcasting it to everyone. I always did a bunch of grinding, work, stepping up. So when things started to happen, and people would try to play it off as luck, or play it off as chance, or play it off as, oh, you're just in the right place at the right time. At that point that I run through, oh, I've been working since this time. I've been doing this since this time. So, you know, sometimes people who are cocky or confident, a lot of times it'd be a lot of bark, not enough bite.
Talk about it.
I will be nibbling. I'm taking little bites. You don't even see I'm biting you until I bark at you and I take that last piece. So that's always just kind of how I did it for a long time, But that gets exhausting too, because people don't see the process, and they don't see the struggle. You know, they see the results. So it's like, I'm working on being more vocal about the process, because people just see the end result, but the process is really what makes it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Now, what was your stiffest competition? Like, who was the person that gave you the most trouble? Like, female or male, it doesn't matter. Like, who's somebody that every time you got ready to race, you like, I gotta get my sleep the night before, like I gotta be I gotta be locked in, zero focus, because I know they're gonna come with it how I'm coming with it.
You know, I can't really think of any one competitor, to be honest with you. I always kind of raced against the rankings, raced against everybody. So for me, I had took myself out of racing against competition in high school because, you know, for a long time, it was just once my coach's daughters graduated and moved on, and there was maybe one or two other girls in state. Once that was over, it was me and the clock, or me and the ranking. So I always just tried to be methodical with my time. Like, I'm trying to run this time. I'm trying to run this time. If qualifying standard is, you know, 7:20 indoor, I'm trying to run 7:20 or faster. So like, as far as like people, now don't get me wrong, there was a lot of hitters when I was in school and college. Some of the top sprinters that I competed against, you know, from my own school, like Kimberlyn Duncan, definitely a phenom in the 200 meters. She came in as a freshman and worked her way up. Kimberlyn's incredible. Freshman year, we had Kellyanne Baptiste from Trinidad and Tobago. In high school, we had like Jessica Panuka. We just had so many. I have so many different people that I have tried to model after, you know, throughout the years, that you can never sleep on me, but I'm never sleeping on you. I had a few of those, you know. Then dealing with the SEC, it literally, if you make the SEC finals in a sprint, 100 meters, 200 meters, 60 meters, from lane 1 to 8, anybody can be the dog that gets the bone that day. So it was just more so about me just competing within myself and just trying to give my best effort, because somebody from lane 8 can come and get you at the line, and you're worried about the person at 6. And lane 8's out there getting it done. So I really try my hardest not to focus on whoever, because even when I became professional at Olympic trials, you know, running against Carmelita Jeter, who was the world's fastest woman, I was in the lane right next to her. My focus, you may have run 10.8, but you had to beat this business in this first 20. Like, you had to beat this business in the first 20.
I love it.
And that's just kind of, I just reverted back to like that comfortable place. So like just rehearsing and just when you have confidence in some part, some people are great starters, some people are great finishers. So it's like, it really didn't matter who was out there. I have my race plan. And then once I get out of that, then of course I'm going to always compete, but I run against some of the best. So it's hard for me to pick out, you know, who is the main or not.
No, and that's fair. That makes a lot of sense, because like I said, track is just you versus, like you said, it's you versus everybody. It's you versus the clock. It's you versus the ranking. It's you versus you know, the people that are running next to you, your own teammates. I mean, like it's you against the world really in that moment. So I mean, I think that was a great answer and a great definitely a great point. Now, I know you mentioned that you are into, like, now you're doing coaching and things of that nature of your own. So what level right now are you coaching at? And like, what is something that you try to share with your athletes that to help propel them to the next level? Like if they say, like, you know, I want to be like you, like I want to compete like you competed. I want to compete, you know, at the highest level at a Division I school, and then, you know, go on to the Olympics and compete in nationals and things of that nature. Like, what is something that you feel like that they need to know in order for them to reach that next level?
So right now, I'm coaching at a high school. I'm the head track and field coach at a high school here in Phoenix. But before that, I also do like one-on-one speed development training. I did training for college guys getting ready for the combine, NBA guys trying to increase their jump and explosiveness.
Nice.
Before I retired from track, or semi-retired from track, that's another story, but I went into personal training. So I was a fitness manager at a couple corporate gyms out in California as well as Las Vegas. So learning how to build the body and the science behind, you know, muscle development and all of that has really been a huge part of my training. So now that I have a high school team of my own, I'm just trying to build a culture. And something I say all the time to my athletes is that we're making deposits. Every day, we're making a deposit. Every rep, we're making a deposit. You're tired, you don't want to come to practice today, you show up, we're making a deposit. You do this rep, good, bad, or different. You're always making a deposit, big or small, because it's going to come a day where you're going to have to get a withdrawal. There's going to come a day that I'm going to call on you to do something that you're uncomfortable with. But trust in your deposits. Check your account balance and see where you are. So I just always say, we're making deposits today. We're making deposits today. And this is my first year with this program. And the other co-head coach, he just showed me the purchase order for the T-shirts that we're getting for this season. And he's like, he showed me the front, and then on the back it has making deposits. And I was like, you get it.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I love that so much.
Because it really translates across the board, both athletic, both in life, both in class, in work, like no matter what. If you take each day, good, bad, or whatever, and you're like, I'm just making a deposit for me to do this, for me to do this, for me to do that. If you just continually feed the monster, you know, it's gonna be able to go eat somebody soon. So I always say,
that's a bar.
You have to, listen, you have to, because for so long, no one did that for me. You know, everything that I did athletically, in the classroom, in life, yeah,
I can't hear you. Hold on. I can't hear. Oh, hold on, let me see. All right, I'm having some technical difficulties here. I don't know what just happened. Okay, hold on here. Okay, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Kenyanna, can you hear me?
Come on. We were doing so well.
I know. Can you hear me? All right, we're having some technical difficulties, guys. One moment. Trying to get it right.
All right. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Yes, it happens. It's a part of the business, but welcome.
But as I was saying, that was something that people never did for me. I had entered the team when I first started running track, and these people were breaking records already. They're making USA teams already. There was nothing that I could do that was new. So no one ever talked to me about my mental health. No one ever talked to me about how to motivate myself, how to stay in, and how to keep working. Like sometimes you feel like, am I just training for someone else to train off of me? Like you kind of lose yourself in that process, or you can lose yourself in that process. So now that I'm a coach, I let all my athletes know, from the most talented to the least talented, it's about you. It's not my name that's on that lane, it's yours. When you cross the finish line, it's your name attached to that result. And if your deposits are positive, you'll get something out of it. Now, if you have more withdrawals than deposits, we'll be able to see that too. So I just continue to try to foster and just take care of the mental health portion with my athletes, because you know, that was really big back in, 2005, 6, and 7 when I was in high school. And in college, when you're a part of a big time program, no one's going to hold your hand. No one's going to hold your hand.
Yeah.
So I just try to make sure that I kind of give them a little bit of that and say, just keep pushing, big or small, just keep making deposits.
Well, that's dope, and I think you made a lot of sense when you as far as to push that forward and push that in their minds, because that's a great making a deposit is literally a great metaphor for life, not even just for sports, because you mentally every day are making some kind of deposit or some kind of sacrifice, if you will, depending on what it is that you're doing or what it is that you're trying to do. So that's amazing that that you kind of embedded that in their brain, because that's something that's going to propel them for success, like you said, in sports and just in life in general. Now, before we wrap up here, what is something that I'll ask you this, I guess, in this way. What do you want your legacy to be when it's all said and done and people speak about you as a runner and as a coach? like, what do you want for the consensus to be, basically? Like, what's gonna, define who you are, basically?
Ooh, that's rough. Well, honestly, I just want people to just say, like, she really gave a good effort. No matter what it is. A company that I started my training business is an elite few. And what I say all the time is we must do what's necessary to become a part of an elite few. Because there's only a few people that give enough effort to get a result. And I feel like if people, if they can't say anything else about me, they can say she always tried. She always gave her best effort. And that's really what I do. When it comes to coaching, I may not be able to tap in or get someone to tap into their highest level athletically. But if I can get you to operate mentally on a higher level, you're going to give a better effort after that. When I was on the track, I tried to give my best effort every time I could. I tell my kids all the time, oh, you feel like you're going to vomit? I threw it pretty much every practice. And it wasn't because I was out of shape. You know, when you think I didn't have anything else to work for, I still had something else to work for because it was about my effort. So I guess I've been making deposits for years now that I'm
that's it's been a theme for life.
I guess so. So I mean, honestly, I just want people to say that I just gave a good effort in everything I did.
That's amazing. And I think that's a solid way to define something as great as what you've done and what you're continuing to do. And again, I think it's super dope that you are working with young athletes like in high school, because high school is such a pivotal part of a person's life. Like people, you don't even realize it until you get older and you look back, and because a lot of the things that you do in high school pretty much shape the rest of your life. And it's crazy to think of it in that sense, because you're so young and so just like wide-eyed and about everything. But it definitely makes a world of difference if you have people like you, honestly, for what you do. Like if you have people like you in your life that are able to kind of shift your focus a little bit and say, hey, let's lock in on this thing and let's be great at it. So salute to you for that. And just congratulations on an incredible track career as like I said, as an actual participating athlete, and now transitioning from that into coaching. Like I said, I think that's super, super dope. So salute to you, wishing you all the luck and success in the world. And your with your journey and your high schoolers. And I hope that they really understand and appreciate that they have a really dope coach that is trying to ensure that that they can be the best that they can be. So salute to you, sis.
Thank you. That's really what it's all about. I just want anyone that comes in contact with me just to know that they can continue to thrive, and they can even shift. Nothing is set in stone. Whatever your direction is, just give a good effort while you're in it, and make your deposits while you're in it. And
come on, deposits.
Say, you know what? My deposits are coming in too slow. Like, I mean, even like with you, just continuing to push, continue to stay motivated, just taking your game to the next level. That's all you can do. When you're not, competing and you're not on the mic, perfect your craft. Get some more stats. See what other people are talking about, and just fortify yourself, because ultimately you are the vessel. You are the one that's giving the message. You are the one that's touching the masses. So you have to make sure you're making your deposits as well. So it definitely translates across the board. It definitely does.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, like I said, that's very important. So before we wrap up, is there anything right now that you are promoting that you want to tell people about, that people should know? That is there any ways that they can support you and what you got going on?
Absolutely. So right now, kind of shifting. I'm definitely doing high school coaching right now. I'm starting to do an off-season speed camp for football players and multi-sport athletes. That's going to probably drop in about 2 weeks or so. Anyone can follow me on Instagram. It's AnEliteFew, ANELITEFEW. AnEliteFew, look me up there. I always dropping either workout information, where we're having some meetups, and I'm just trying to grow. With COVID forcing everybody to go remote, things kind of shifted. Coaching is really, really hands-on, but I'm very much thankful for the time I've had during the pandemic to shift and do things more virtually. So we have a lot of options. I'm also completing a NIL, like informational, so to say. So some of these athletes who are going into college or even in high school now understand that you can use your name, image, and likeness to make money.
Yes, yes.
And depending on the state you're in, how much money, who needs to be involved and who doesn't. So I think that that'll just be a very positive thing to uplift communities of people who traditionally may not have the most resources, and just letting them know you can make some change now, but you gotta work at it. So follow me, An Elite Few on Instagram. The website is posting. I'm going to have a lot of blogs on there. So I'm always reposting stuff that will assist you in whatever fitness, nutrition, or performance goals you have. I'm like, science is science. I would never reinvent the wheel. So you'll see me reiterating and regurgitating a lot of stuff, because if it works, I'm going to make sure I put a stamp on it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Sports Senseis, and make sure y'all follow all of her Instagram pages, and make sure y'all keep in touch with her, because she's doing really, really great things, and we gotta support people like that and put them in a positive light. So salute to you, sis. Again, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been so much fun and so great. Definitely gonna have to have you back on again, as you know,
football season.
Football
season. Get my real takes.
Season. Okay.
My real takes.
So before we go, who's your NFL team?
I don't have an NFL team. I'm a bandwagon jumper. I was a Peyton Manning fan.
Me too.
I used to love the Raiders.
Me too.
Growing up in LA, I love the Raiders. And then in 2002, when the Raiders got stomped out by the Buccaneers, I was done. So I became a Colts fan, and then a Broncos fan, and then after that, I've been kind of trying to find a home. But I mean, the NFL is so exciting right now, just to watch the evolution of that quarterback position, watching different styles of play. All of these boys are Vic's sons, so it's been very exciting.
You better say that. You better say that. You better say that for the people in the back. They be trying to play with Michael Vick like he's not one of them. Like that, girl. You better say that.
Listen, happy.
Listen, right here with you, sis. Right here with you. Well, that wraps up another episode of the Sports Senseis. Thank you again. It is your girl Sensei, and shout out to our lovely guest Kenyanna Wilson for coming on the show and blessing us with her knowledge and all of her facts and her truths. And I'll leave it with this, because this is gonna stick in my mind forever. Make y'all deposits, man. That is an incredible, incredible life mantra to have. So make sure y'all make y'all deposits every single day, no matter what it is that you're trying to do. And that's our show. That wraps it up, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have sis, I hope you have a great rest of your night. I'll definitely be following you and keeping in touch with you. And thank y'all for support, man. We out of this thing.
All right. Everybody be safe.
Whole sports, all plays. Yeah. Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.